What's up, guys? This is Bobby Douglas, and we are back again with another 2020 NBA Draft video breakdown. And today we're going to be looking at Alabama point guard Kira Lewis Jr. Kira Lewis Jr. had a lot of interest from scouts even heading into his freshman year. He was only a 17-year-old when he enrolled in Alabama heading into his freshman year. He's a sophomore now, but he's still younger than a lot of college freshmen that you'll see. And scouts really like him because of his scoring ability. He has a pretty good overall passing acumen, and then his end-to-end speed is really top level, and he might be one of the fastest players in the draft end-to-end. So that's another reason why scouts like him. You know, he does have some areas of improvement that he should work on. Obviously, he's very skinny. You'll watch in this video. He's thin as a thread. He tends to turn it over a little bit too much for my liking, and also he needs to work on his decision-making overall. But I do think the upside is there with Kira Lewis Jr. Right now I have him 17th on my big board, but he obviously is one of those guys who I can see rising on my board as we get closer to the October 15th draft. So, yeah, with that intro, I will start the video, and we're watching a game from Alabama at LSU from late January of this year. And there's Kira Lewis Jr. right there. He's going to be number 2 in red for Alabama. And we'll watch him play. So here we go. So he's on the perimeter right now, guarding a cutter. The thing with Lewis that I like as well is that he's a very skinny defender. As you saw right there, I think that's Javonte Smart kind of just bullied his way towards the basket, and Lewis can't really do much about that. But, you know, once he gets stronger and grows into his body a little bit more, and remember, he's barely 19 years old. Once he gets more acclimated to the physicality of the NBA and then puts a little bit more weight on, I do think he'll be a pretty good defender on the perimeter. He's already really good at busting up dribble handoffs and ball screens for steals. That's something I really like about his game. It's not a effort issue at all. I think Lewis has a great motor, but it's just a matter of him getting stronger on the defensive end. So right now he's guarding Javonte Smart, who's been a fringe NBA prospect. I think he put his name in, but he's returning to LSU. But he's had some good games for them in his 2 years there. So here's again. So he's probably under orders to stay on Lewis. Let's see what he does here. I think that's Jaden Shackelford with that layup that missed. But this game is kind of teeming with a bunch of mid-level NBA prospects. You got Lewis is probably a crown jewel out of this game, but then you also got Trendon Watford, who Lewis is guarding right there, and then obviously left him. And then you got Skylar Mays. You have Herbert Jones, who just announced he was withdrawing his name from the draft. You have John Petty Jr., who scouts are interested in. Darius Days from LSU. Emmett Williams from LSU. So you got a lot of names that are cracking top 100 big boards as we head into the draft from this game. So again, his primary opponent on defense is going to be Javonte Smart. And again, he's giving him pretty much a decent amount of space to operate. Again, he's going to have trouble fighting through ball screens, especially in the NBA level, but until he puts on strength. Decent contest there. Looked like he slipped to trying to box out Smart there. So it's going to be LSU ball. And there's Nate Oates. Nate Oates, he was a very good coach at Buffalo, and now he's obviously at Alabama. He and Eric Musselman, I swear, they are in the mix for pretty much every single transfer imaginable. It's just those two I always see on the names of finalists for these transfers. And then Will Wade, obviously, he's in a whole bunch of trouble with the FBI. So let's see what he does here. Again, it looks like the floor might be a little bit slippery. That's the second time I've seen him kind of lose his footing there. I do think he's a pretty good perimeter defender. Again, with that quickness, it's going to be really hard for him to totally be a bust on that end. It really is going to come down to his overall strength development. So that's something to look out for as well. In this game, we got a little bit more favorable decision-making out of Lewis. He had 8 assists to 2 turnovers, usually, which is around a 4 to 1 assist to turnover ratio. Obviously, There's a nice little pass on a cut from Shackelford there. Or that's Herb Jones, excuse me. Yeah, usually his assist to turnover ratio was around, I want to say, maybe 1.4 to 1 or somewhere around that range. He averaged around 3.5 turnovers this season, which obviously isn't good. But again, he's still young. He's still trying to just learn to play within himself a little bit right there. Again, right there, you saw him with the ball. It almost is like he's too fast for his own feet at times. Again, he has really high level end-to-end speed. That'll be really fun to watch in the NBA. It's just, getting stronger, just getting a little bit more adept at decision making, especially from a point guard spot. I'm not really sure he's big enough to play off the ball, which might hinder his overall upside. But I do think that he'll be a pretty good facilitator in the NBA as long as he makes better decisions. So here he is with the ball in his hands again. He needs to pick and roll. See, so right there, that's not really like... I think that, yeah. So right there, that's definitely a forced pass. I think he missed a classic P&R situation right there. He went for the home run play with the lob to Herb Jones. Not the best decision there, and obviously, I'm not saying he was the cause for Jones's injury there, but I mean, it certainly didn't help anything. So that's just something to look out for as well. So again, he's still on Javonte Smart. You can see how he handles this. Okay, luckily, Williams didn't really come through with that screen, but we got another foul, and that's heading into a media timeout. So I will. Luckily, this is a pretty good channel for games. It's this LSU specific channel. I think it's called Boys from the Boot, and they have a bunch of LSU games. I think there's a bunch of basketball and football games. I know they have the national championship for this past season in college football up there. So they got a lot of really good stuff. And I'm happy to find this game for scouting purposes for Kira Lewis Jr. So that's an illegal screen on Petty. Yeah, you could see that coming from a mile away. We'll see. He's just going to ram into him. I want to see if Lewis went early. Yeah, no, that's just a dumb screen from Petty. Not really on Lewis there, I would say. So again, still going Smart. So right there, the big guy had to drop and cover Smart's drive. Lewis has quick enough feet to get around screens, but it's just the upper body that I'm worried about with that. And again, you see him he has quick feet where he can just kind of jump around screens and things like that. But obviously, if somebody connects with him good, it's not really it's gonna hinder his movement defensively, I would say. So he's fronting Smart there on the post. That was a good play. Good job getting that rebound. Again, he's not a bad rebounder for his size and frame. He averaged around five rebounds a game, which is pretty good. He got that assist right there. Again, he's really fun to watch in transition because he's so fast. He usually makes pretty good decisions in transition. But, yeah, no, he averaged around 5 rebounds a game, which is pretty good for his frame, as I mentioned. So I do think he's kind of a ball hawk. Yeah, so we'll see this play right here. Again, simple read. Really subtle but great play right there. He was able to shield off Shackelford's defender, allowing him the open three. That was a really smart play from Lewis. See, that's lethal. So you see right there, that step back is going to be really good because again, not only is he a super fast player at his peak, but he's also he's really good at changing his pace. That time he kind of got lost there, but really good at changing his pace as well. So that step back, we'll see that a lot in this game where he pretends like he's going towards the rim at full speed, and then he just has one big jab step, and he'll step back and take that three. That's a really impressive move, and I think that'll serve him well in the NBA. It's almost the opposite effect of what Aaron Nesmith does. If you remember that video, I talked a lot about how Nesmith's lethal shooting ability causes defenders to play up on him, and then obviously that opens up things for the drive. With Lewis, it's almost the opposite. So like people have to kind of sag off of him. So the second he makes one move towards the rim, the defender's already at the free throw line or below, and he's able to step back and shoot open threes. So it's a similar issues, but it's obviously a different application. So Lewis is still in. Thought he was out there for a second, but no. So now he's guarding Skylar Mays, who's another one who's a top 100 prospect of mine. He's in the 60s for me. Yeah, he's a very good shooter, very good overall player. I think he's a 4-year guy at LSU. And we got foul here, so I'll skip this free throw. Right there, he kind of he anticipated the screen going the other way. He kind of got lost there, but he did a good job recovering. LSU is going to win this game by 14. I think the final score is 90-76. So not entirely close, but, you know. We got another and one here. I'll skip this free throw. So Lewis on the ball again right here. Didn't really want to do anything there. Let's see what he does. Again, so right there, that should have been another assist for him. He did a really good job driving into the middle of the defense right there, which is exactly where LSU doesn't want him to go. And again, the second that help defender cuts in to try and stop him, it's an easy kick out for an open three to Shackelford, who will usually make that shot. So that's a good offensive play from Lewis, even though it didn't result in a made basket. We got more free throws. LSU's already in the bonus, so that's tough. I think I missed something here. Here we go. Good job getting through that screen. Good finish through contact. He's also a pretty bouncy athlete as well. You'll see him dunk a few times, not in this game necessarily, but if you watch highlights, you know, he can definitely get up there. And again, as he gets stronger, his finishing in contact and finishing at the rim will get better, I would assume. And that was a pretty strong take right there. Now we got a media timeout. I will skip all this. Some little dribble handoff right there. Uses the screen well. Good one-handed dart pass to another open shooter. Just couldn't make it right there. And we got a foul here. I'll let this play out unless it takes a while to get it going again. It's a good move from Petty. Really good pass. Let's see if he hits it. Tough. So it looked like they ran the same action there, except this time Jones didn't hit Lewis with the DHO. Good job from Jones hedging now. Let's see what Lewis does on the screen. Good job getting over. And again, the second he gets his feet moving, I think he won't have an issue getting through screens. It's just, I'm not sure if he's really built to, like, just deal with the mass of NBA bigs setting these screens sometimes. Saw right there, he did a nice little back cut. Cleared out a defender, opened up a three. But again, yeah, so that's just like the second or third time we've seen Lewis not help off of Smart on the drive. That must be a team thing. I don't know exactly what Javonte Smart's percentages were this year from three, but you can kind of tell that they respect him as a shooter. Again, so that time right there, you saw it. So again, somebody got him with his shoulder, and he just couldn't really get around, and it led to an open jump shot for Smart, which he hit. Again, that's another assist that he should have had right there. Again, another really nice job there of just driving into the teeth of the defense, getting into the middle, and then finding an open teammate. His teammates have let him down a little bit right there. Looks like he got called for a foul right there, so I will skip ahead. So now Lewis is going to be off the ball. Haven't really seen him do much shooting yet. But he finishes this game with 13 points. He also has 8 assists in this game. See, he's more of a pick dodger than a pick fighter, There's Shackelford again. Couldn't get that three to go. And here he's getting back on D. So that's going to be off onto him, and then he's out right here. So I'll skip ahead to 28:40 is when he comes back in. So I will make the adjustment right here. Then he's in for about 3.5 minutes, and then he picks up his second foul. And he's out for the rest of the half with around 3 minutes left. So good kick out. Again, the second he breaks through the first level of defense, players are just going to collapse on him because he's so quick. And again, that's going to free up a ton of open shooters for him. And especially with NBA spacing, I think that'll be even more of a asset to his game in the future. We got more free throws here, I think, so I will skip. Oh, wait, never mind. Yeah, we do. Good crossover right there. You like to be a little bit stronger with the ball. Obviously, that's going to happen. Again, wow, that's a really good dunk from Emmett Williams. But the thing with that is that so Lewis, again, it almost looks like he sometimes gets a little bit too sped up. And again, with someone with his speed, it's going to happen. I mean, it happened with John Wall, it happens with John Morant, I'm not saying that Lewis is in that category of prospect or player, but I'm just saying in that regard, they're similar. And so you look at him, and it looks like he almost tries to stop on a dime with a little bit too much force, and it causes him to kind of lose his balance, give up the ball a little bit easier, things like that. So Petty got that rebound, and nothing's going to happen with Lewis here, but... And again, for how talented LSU is, like, they should have been a lot better, I think. I think they have 4 or 5 guys that could compete for spots on NBA rosters in the future. So, you know, you like to see him be a little bit better, but here's Lewis again. Again, good job getting into the teeth of defense. Elevated nicely on that floater. Just couldn't get it to go. But again, he does have that vertical athleticism that you're looking for in a guard. So, you know, once he gets stronger, it does give me hope for 3-level scoring ability. And he definitely showcased that in college. I mean, he averaged 18.5 points a game. But I do think he'll be a little bit more efficient in the NBA once he gets more strength. But you saw the athleticism right there. And again, combined with that speed, you know, I like the lift on that floater too. So getting on Javonte Smart again. That was a smart reach because he noticed that 15 turned his back towards Smart, so it would have been a really difficult pass for him to make. And so he knew that that was the time to dig down and go for a steal or with a reach there. Got a timeout here, so I'll skip ahead. So Lewis is now on Skylar Mays. Did a decent job cutting off that drive, but again, he kind of got lost in the shuffle on those off-ball screens, it looked like, but another really good job getting into the heart of defense. Nice kick-out pass. That time his teammate finished for him. Yeah, he's not going to get involved on a play like that. That's Darius Days, who's another guy that I'll probably have a video made about him. This here. So that time he was well short on that 3-point shot. Yeah, not sure about that. And then that was a bad sequence for him. He got that. Took that ill-advised shot, then he picked up his second foul of the half, and that's how his half ends. So obviously not a great half from Kira Lewis Jr., but, you know, I think we saw some good things. So I'll pause the video here. And, yeah, that'll wrap it up for the first half video. Make sure to stay tuned for the second half of Kira Lewis Jr., and make sure to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. That really helps me out. And, yeah, we will see you for the second half.